Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Does Metal Have Soul podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Levi Clay, and I am here with my not hat wearing partner, Melisa Kelly. How's it going?
Good. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. Much better than last time because I had lost my voice, although people didn't see that.
Yeah, nobody knows that. This is a tragic one, so viewers may have noticed there was no podcast last week. We recorded one, well, sort of. We sat in here this time last week and we got an hour and 10 minutes into the podcast, and then suddenly I went, I haven't turned on my microphone. So we just recorded Melissa's voice for the whole podcast.
Yep.
And we toyed with the idea of re-recording it the next day so it would still be up on the Wednesday, but we didn't want to do it too close from the previous recording session because then you find yourself in this weird position where you're trying to repeat moments. Yeah. And also the music would have been fresh in Melissa's mind. So it felt just giving it a week and coming back to it and holding my hands up and saying, I'm incompetent. Sorry.
You're not incompetent. It happens to the best of us. And when it happens, I think because when it happens on my channel to do with anything, the one thing that I've wanted to have the whole way along is that there's no fake reacting to things.
Yes.
There's no watching things and being like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. Because that's just nonsense. That's not true. The only thing that I've watched on this channel that I had seen before was The Darkness's Let the Bells Ring for Christmas.
Don't let the bells end, you mean?
But I told everybody that and then I just sang along to it.
Yeah, that's reasonable. So in this case, technically you have heard a lot of these tracks, but we only listened to a couple of minutes of them and it was a week ago and you've listened to lots of other music. I can't imagine you remembering some of the finer details.
No, and I have a goldfish brain. And
that's true.
Also, we only listened to like half of them.
Yes, half of the tracks that are in the playlist.
But also, genuinely, I was so not well for like a good week and a half there, and I was losing my voice, and I was very grumpy about it.
Yeah.
Because it's just because I had that toucan gig that I had been chit-chatting about with some of you, which went fine. It went completely fine. Well. I did want to kill myself when I was on stage at one point because I was like, not only does the singing physically hurt, it feels like glass, which it never should, but I'm going to have to push through. And all these very lovely people have come to see me and I'm just like, fuck a luck a ding dong.
But the thing that Mel doesn't get, and you guys will probably agree with me in the comment section, Mel is a great singer. Mel is, has a vocal talent. And anytime somebody has a lot of talent at a thing, they often forget the fact that the talent is not, showing off the skills is not the important part of what it is that you do. So Mel is of the opinion that if I'm not singing like Beyonce, then what I'm doing is no good. And she misses the fact, or she forgets the fact, that she's a great songwriter, and also she's extremely funny. And the funny and the songwriting things, like Taylor Swift isn't an amazing vocalist, but she's a great songwriter for her audience, yeah? And she puts on a good spectacle, she puts on a good show for people, so people still go, regardless of how if you think that the only thing that's good about you as a singer is that you're technically very good as a singer, then maybe you shouldn't be a singer, because that just feels like the most boring.
No, I think it's just it's more from a creatively stifling sort of place.
Yes.
Like, I know that as a singer, that I've said it so many times before, there's a million singers in front of me who are better than me, technically, tonally, everything. And that doesn't bother me. I don't lose any sleep over it because I do know that, I bring something else and that thing is weird, strange, and that's good and unique.
Yes.
But I think sometimes when it's like, I'm gonna sing a song, especially because I sang a new song, I'm gonna sing a song and I express myself, creatively speaking, as a singer by choosing different melodies, and I couldn't do any of that. I had to stick to the bare bones melody, and even at that I had to be like, girl, be careful. And I hate that stifling feeling of I can't just wander off and sing whatever I want. I've got to stay within the fucking realms.
But I just think from an audience perspective, they finish the gig and they go home and they speak to one of their friends and they say, there's two things they can say. They can either say, I went to see a gig tonight. Mm-hmm. This singer was the most amazingly gifted singer I've ever seen. Mm. Or, I went to see a gig tonight. Oh, this girl, she was so funny. one of those elicits a stronger response from the person that they're talking to, and I think the funny is more valuable.
I mean, I did make a lot of suicide jokes because I just was like, I'm so done here today.
Yeah.
I'm so sad. I'm so sad that this is my reality because I literally sounded like Rod Stewart. Like Rod Stewart now, not Rod Stewart back in the day. But, you know, I had 5 wines and a tequila.
You did, yeah.
And then when I was upstairs, someone did say that. Someone that Sammy brought along. She'd never seen me before, and she's like, I really enjoyed your music, I really enjoyed the songs, but above all else, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'll take it.
People will remember funny.
Well.
People don't remember, oh wow, do you remember that amazing melisma?
No, I know.
So in today's episode, we are going to be finishing off thrash music. So we did the big 4. We're now 2 weeks removed from Megadeth, but we have listened to a fair bit of Megadeth in the car. I think your views on Megadeth have changed a little bit in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, just, you know, from some conversations I had in the comment sections about Dave's voice and overall his songwriting. I think he's a fabulous songwriter. I think
What do you mean he's a fabulous songwriter?
What do you mean? What do you mean you don't like the tone of my voice? I actually don't mind the tone of Dave's voice at all. Some people were saying that was the big negative and that was probably what my problem was. And I'm like, truly no, I think he's got a really unique voice.
But when we were listening to Countdown to Extinction and Rust in Peace in the car, we were both agreed that the music, you know, Megadeth are a music band or a musician's band.
Yeah.
They have lots of interesting musical things happening.
Yeah.
Which you don't find so much in, you know, Anthrax.
No.
So.
But Anthrax was still number 1 in my big 4.
Okay. All right. Fine.
I stick by it. Megadeth are number 2 though.
So we have a playlist today of music that we're going to be looking at. There's some bands like Exodus and Testament. There's also some international thrash bands, and we're going to look at the modern revival, the resurgence of thrash music in the 2000s. Just a little kind of pit stops on each of these things. But, of course, as usual, before we do that, first we have Metalhead Musings.
Woohoo! Firstly, I picked these Metalhead Musings like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So it's kind of nice because I don't even know what they say now. I don't know. Goldfish brain. So Des Taylor, who is my queen, my heart. At some point, I will marry Des Taylor. Des Taylor says, Anthrax and Cold Chamber opened for Megadeth in 97 and it was my first concert. I've been headbanging ever since. I also used to be the operations supervisor for Peloton, Levi.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
Now.
It's cool to hear you have a sub. Great podcast. You two beautiful beasts. Melissa, I love you as always. Have an epic day, both of you. Des, I haven't the words.
I'm going to say the same thing I said a week ago.
Because
when the opportunity arises, it's not a joke. I'm being deadly serious.
Oh.
Speak to somebody at Peloton and get me a better price on my membership because...
I don't think Des works there anymore.
Yeah, sure. £40 a month on Peloton, and here's the gag. Mel can put an image on screen. I think Peloton need all the financial help they can get because their stock price is in the fucking toilet.
Well, you know.
It's almost like it's a brilliant COVID business model.
It's really brilliant COVID, but like, yeah.
It was an incredibly valuable company during COVID.
Sure.
And their stock price is so in the toilet now. I look at it, I'm like, oh, this company might not even be here next year.
I mean, I don't want to talk shit about Peloton because I use it every single day.
Sure.
Not for its desired purpose. I'm not shoving it up my ass, but, you know, it's you know, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so next Metalhead Musing.
Yes.
At this one, I remember now, I picked it only because it was snappy and funny. Someone on David Draymond's video said, finally, someone said it. And I was like, John, thank you. Thank you for being an ally with me, despite the fact that you would have went into the comment section and went, oh, holy shit, all these people are like, you fucking, what do you mean David Draymond uses auto-tune?
The thing is, like, you're not the first person to say it. Other people have
You would
said
think
it.
I was.
And as much as I don't really like him as a human, because he comes across as ridiculously pretentious, and I don't think you should be that arrogant in your ability to do a thing when your skill set is so limited. But Wings with Pegasus, he did a video on David Draymond and highlighted the auto-tune in Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
So it's not up for discussion.
And I linked it. It's actually a pinned comment at the top of the fucking video where I literally say, here is someone who is far more adept at dealing with these programs than me. Go and have a look. shut your fucking mouth and remember it doesn't take anything away from it, and there's no need for you to be a total dickhead on the internet about it.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is YouTube, so who knows? Who knows? I'm just a guy trying to get through the day.
You're a guy?
It's the reveal.
There's the secret.
There's the secret. Okay, so Gia Star.
Uh-huh.
Gia Star says, and this is of Sleep Token.
Okay.
I still can't listen to Caramel without my heart breaking for Vessel. He and the boys are something so special, and I really hope the toxic fans wake the fuck up so we don't lose them. Glad you loved it till the end.
Yes.
I'm also still not ready to bawl my eyes out to the whole album when it releases on Friday. So far I've cried so much for the three releases. I'm pretty sure this album is going to completely break me. Thank you, Geostar.
So I do feel like we're just going through the motions now, because I remember this conversation.
Oh, I should have changed the Metalhead Musings.
Toxic fans, Sleep Token and toxic fans. Like, you and I were like, what does that even mean?
That's right. Oh, and I looked it up. Because there was a Reddit thread. Ha. It's all coming back to. It's all coming back. Is that was Celine Dion? Sleep Token fans have been known for being absolutely horrific. This is on Reddit, by the way. And disrespectful. They have no courtesy at shows. Paramedics are in and out of the crowds constantly, and people have previously posted their birth certificates as well as yelling out their real names to them on stage. Sleep Token finally released Caramel, calling out fans' overly obsessive behaviours with the band. I hope not only do these obsessive fans leave this poor band alone, but also hope that this message spreads to the other fan bases that have similar issues. Bad Omens, for example. Stalking a band is never okay, nor is being flat out violent at shows.
Okay, so much to say.
So much to say. So
the accusations of violence are just inaccurate. People were pulled out by paramedics for many reasons.
Sure.
At a gig.
Being too fucking hot.
Exactly.
Panic attacks.
Exactly. You need to. It's not Slayer. Okay. Slayer fans, violence. Yeah. Sleep Token fans,
concur.
not violent. I have no sympathy for. Sleep Token are where they are as a band because of fanatics. Yeah. Right? Yep.
You're not here anymore.
I see that I'm not here anymore. I'm not entirely sure why I'm not here anymore.
Let's
sort that out.
Your computer does not want us to do thrash anymore. Your computer's like, bitch, you've done the big four, fucking stop.
Right, I don't know why that happened.
I'm going to put a little face.
Let's keep that going.
I'm going to put Ray Liotta on the side of me.
So, yes, that comment literally came from a person who said that they don't know if they've got the energy, the emotional energy to listen to the full album because they'll bawl their eyes out, okay?
Which is fine.
Yeah, no, of course it's fine. But you are the reason a band like that is as popular as it is, because you have thrown your entire being into them and their art.
Yeah.
And this is also a band that has gone out of their way to foster intrigue and to foster mystery. We are masked people. You don't think that you are going to perform in masks and then people are going to wonder who you are? Like, this is a band where before the new single started releasing, they posted cryptic teasings of sheet music from it because they knew that their fans would
cream themselves,
try and work out what this meant, try and piece it together. And like, you cannot foster a community of detectives and then be annoyed when you have a community of detectives around you. Like that, it really is as simple as that. And they're not the first band to be anonymous people, you know, Ghost do it, but prior to, like, back in the day, I was going to say Slipknot, but you go earlier than that, you think of a band like Kiss, like, people wanted to know who the people were behind the masks and the face paint. And there is always a sense of intrigue around someone like Gene Simmons, the Demon.
Yep.
That's his character name, but also Gene Simmons is a demon. There's an intrigue in both the Demon, the character, but also Gene Simmons, the man. There's an interest in Paul Stanley as a performer, but also as Paul Stanley, the man.
Yeah.
And you cannot be in, and we can say this now, a band that has a #1 UK album and then be annoyed when people are really, 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 really interested in who you are behind the scenes.
I think it's a bunch of things. I think I agree with you. I think I don't mind fans like Geostar because I understand that there's certain things like if Tom Waits released an album tomorrow, I would lie on the kitchen floor and drink red wine and cry.
Yes.
Listening to it. But also I would never get violent with anyone over Tom Waits.
Again, the violence thing, I want citations on that because I don't buy that for a second.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy it either.
Sleep Token fans cry about their music. They don't fight each other.
I also just think that like the violence at the crowd thing. If cite your source, there needs to be citing the source. However, like it's all perspective. If you're a band that's currently having a sellout tour, there's something kind of chewy about releasing a song being like, you pieces of shit, how dare you become fanatical about the mystery of the enigma that I am. It's like you're giving your fans shit. And I think for me, whenever I see any kind of artist who releases songs about their fans in any of the negative way, I'm just like, unless your fans are neo-Nazis, like, just don't do it. Don't do it, because even on your worst day, like, you're still incredibly successful. You won the lottery ticket. Some of us fucking Joe Schmoes are still slumming it down the bottom, and you're like, oh my God, I just wish the fans would stop obsessively buying all my music. Like, fuck off. Fuck right off.
You do, that's part of being famous. You don't get to decide the level of fame when the reason you're famous is because you've built that for yourself. You have built people being fanatic about what it is that
it's
you
just
do.
boohoo.
And also, here's a hot take for you.
Oh, dear.
Sleep Token aren't really for me. Like, musically, like everything they do is very well put together.
Yeah.
Production is great. And I think from a business perspective, what they've got is excellent.
Yeah.
The branding, the image, the lore surrounding the band, etc., etc. The image is just as much a part of that as the music is. And the anonymous aspect of Sleep Token is such an integral part of why that band are successful. You cannot have that as a cornerstone of why you are successful and then also complain about the fact that people are very interested in the fact that you're anonymous. Get fucked.
No, it's a bit pretentious, and it's really kind of put me off a little bit. Like, I know there's a new single out for Sleep Token, but past, like, outside of Caramel, there was a next one, but I'm not really into listening to it right now. I think I'll leave some time. Also, just like, I'm sure I said it the last time and I'll say it this time, so to be clear, I think that the lore around Ghost is fascinating, and I love the pageantry. I wish that Tobias Forge didn't reveal his face and start doing... It's like kayfabe.
Oh, it's exactly the same with Slipknot. Like, Slipknot, one of the best metal bands of the 2000s, no doubt about it. But fucking hell, if only Corey Taylor didn't come out as Corey Taylor, you know?
It's like, just shh, go back in the mask. I keep the, like, I don't know. It's just, if the fantasy's working and everyone's into it, don't yuck the yum by fucking just being like, hey guys, I'm just a real person. Last time I had some pasta. Like don't do that.
Okay, shall we get into the subject at hand?
Sure.
Cool. So we are starting out with the band Testament today. Testament.
Boo! Sorry.
Testament, American thrash metal band from Berkeley, California, formed in 1983 under the name Legacy. The band's current lineup comprises of rhythm guitarist Eric Peterson, lead vocalist Chuck Billy, lead guitarist Alex Skolnick, bassist Steve DiGiorgio, and drummer Chris Dovas. So we're really going to be talking primarily, of course, vocals, but guitar is going to come into this. So Chuck Billy is the vocalist that we're looking at.
Okay.
And we're going to come back to Alex Skolnick and the project that he did when he left Testament. But to me, you know, music has always been a huge part of the music side of things. It's been a huge part of the music that I listen to. Not the songs, not the vocalist, but the music, right?
It's all about the music, man.
It's all about the melodies, the compositions, right?
Sure.
So it's for that reason, you know, Megadeth are my number one of those thrash bands.
Yeah.
And I'm literally wearing a Megadeth shirt. Because everything is, you know, there's a lot of melodic stuff, there's pushing boundaries in guitar solos and just like really doing cool things. And I like that.
Sure.
Testament come under that category for me. And that's primarily because they have Alex Skolnick in the band. So Alex is a fabulous guitar player who had an interest in jazz music. He had some jazzier lines in his playing. Very melodic player. And we're going to listen to this shortly, but he did leave Testament and went on to study jazz guitar and had a jazz trio and put out jazz music.
This.
But we won't listen to War Pigs. We'll listen to something else today. But we are going to listen to a Skolnick track. So we're going to check out the song Absence of Light from the Souls of Black album. Now, I picked this. This is not the most popular track on the album, but I picked this because I think this is a really, really good example of Alex Skolnick having a really, really fucking good guitar solo. The only reason I'm not more into Testament is when I listen to Chuck Billy singing. To me, he just sounds like a more amped up version of James Hetfield.
I vaguely remember this, yeah.
But yeah, so this is Absence of Light from the Souls of Black album. This came out in, I see that 1990.
Okay.
So it's still quite early-ish in the thrashy movement. So Absence of Light. Thoughts on that?
I enjoyed that solo. That was really melodic, and there were some runs in there where I was like, "Oh, excuse me."
A little bit of chromaticism.
Yeah. I love chromaticism so much. You know me. I think there was some cool phasing things happening in the production side of things,
right,
which I always enjoy that. I love the idea of, in the mixing stage of things, creating air where there wasn't any before. I think that's cool as shit. He is very much sounding like James Hetfield. He sounds like James Hetfield if James Hetfield was a good singer. You know?
Yeah.
Because James Hetfield sounds like a parody. He sounds like he's making
I would
fun
rather
of.
listen to Chuck Billy than James
Yes,
Hetfield.
so would I. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like, harmonically, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
But, you know.
That's metal. That's thrash, isn't it? Like, chord progressions aren't as important as the riff.
And this is why the conversation that I've had in the comment section about someone got really on their high horse with me, and they're just like, so who do you think's good then if you don't like metal? And I'm like, it's not that I don't like metal, it's just that metal will never be in my very top spot, because one of the things that I love a lot is really blues rooted chord progressions, which metal doesn't have. It's not a negative, it's not an attack, but yeah. Very trebly recording as well. No?
Very trebly recorded. Yeah, no, that's fair. So a little bit more information. This is from the commercial breakthrough era in Testament's career, and I just thought this little sentence was interesting. So Testament released their third studio album, Practice What You Preach, in 1989. The album minimised the occult and gothic themes found in the lyrical content of their first two albums, instead focusing on social issues such as politics, corruption. And while staying true to its thrash metal roots, it also saw the band draw influences from a variety of music, such as traditional heavy metal, jazz fusion, and progressive metal. So I thought that was interesting.
I mean, I feel like a lot of metal bands do. They swing. There's only two places. They either live in the occult, or they'll be like, "Fight the power."
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a terrible impression.
Yeah, and honestly, the occult stuff just bores me. It feels goofy. It just feels really, really goofy, because the logical conclusion for that is you just become into black metal. You're just the black metal guy, and then before you're doing rituals in the woods like a fucking loser.
Or you become Ghost.
Yes.
Crying.
But that's not quite the same. So Ghost aren't trying to be taken seriously. You know, Ghost are a theatrical band by nature. They are a musical theatre, yeah? But actually when Testament came out, they weren't trying to be a cult and kooky for entertainment factor. They were trying to pass themselves off as a cult, as all bands from this era did. We want to be taken seriously. We're Satanists.
That's lame. It's so lame. That's super lame. I love occult spooky bullshit, and I love gothic themes as well, but I love them performed by people who understand that they're part of the theatrics of what they're trying to do. If you're genuinely like this, like that fucking black metal band that we listen to, who's like, this song's not a song, it is actually a ritual. It's like, fucking go home, take the fucking stick out your ass, stop being ridiculous.
Yes. So next up, we are going to listen to another Testament track from a little bit later in their career, in the 2000s era. And this is after Alex Skolnick has left the band. Mm-hmm. So at this point, they have a gentleman by the name of James Murphy on playing guitar. And we have a little message from James.
Huzzah!
Which we're going to put in the...
I forgot about this.
We're going to put in the show.
I haven't even seen it.
No, you're going to get to see it now. So here's James Murphy.
Hey guys, this is James Murphy, and you're listening to the Does Metal Have Soul podcast. And, I think it does. And if you want to follow me on YouTube, as soon as I can get up to about 5K followers, I'm going to be posting some very soulful solos. Actually, probably just some really metal solos from
Damn it, James.
Testament, Death, Obituary, and my own band Disincarnate. So go join me over there, and take care.
So that's James Murphy.
I love a fuzzy metalhead.
Yeah, I've got to know James over the year. He's an incredibly nice man. The thing I really love about James is, the reason I got to know James is he's bought like loads of my books, and he just has an interest in learning and just learning about new stuff and getting better about things. So he sends me chord progressions and he's like, "What do you think about this? Like, why is this working? Why do I like that chord?" And we'll have discussions about music theory things and
That's so sweet.
making recommendations on resources to look at. So I love, much like with Alex Skolnick, a guy who is looking to push boundaries and do new things and become better.
Sure.
So go and check out James Murphy. He's awesome. So this is one of Testament's more popular songs. That's not actually a guitar solo in it, if memory serves me right. But this is "Down for Life," taken from The Gathering. Sounds like this. So what do you think about that?
That wee ding at the end.
Sometimes you just need a ride bell.
So stupid. But it was just like so like everything went silent and it went bing and it was so unassuming. That was tremendous. The bell, not the song.
Yeah.
The song's good. I think it's very genre specific. Like if you look up thrash, this is like a textbook version of it, you know?
Yeah.
I think that vocals sounded good. Again, there was that weird thing at the start that was like the like you was thrown up, which sounded really cool. Again, like the harmony, okay, sure, why not? I guess it's just vibes. It's just vibes with metal sometimes. You've got to like the vibe, and if the vibe's not your thing, you might struggle to really get into it. But it was good. Like I'm not.
It is. I think you're describing it as textbook thrash is quite good. Like when I close my eyes to that, I'm just banging my head. I'm like, I'm having a good time listening to this. It's good vibes. It's just about the.
It may be good vibes to you. But
if it makes you want to do this with your fist, then it's on the right.
It's
achieving its goal.
Sure, it doesn't, but that's not its fault.
That's because you never want to do this with your fist.
Depends what you put on. You want to put on
a good fisting.
Not right now, God's
right now.
sake.
Okay, fine.
So demanding.
So that was Testament with James Murphy. Big thanks to James. We'll be coming back to James in future. He mentioned that he played in other bands. Notable bands would be Death, who are very important on the Death.
I've definitely seen Death when we've been chit-chatting about things.
So we'll come back to James when we look at Death. I just want to side quest on the Skolnick trio thing. So would you like to hear Alex Skolnick's jazz trio playing Detroit Rock City by Kiss? Or Dream On by Aerosmith. Or I guess you could have Goodbye to Romance by Ozzy Osbourne.
Let's go for Detroit Rock City.
Okay, right. So, Alex Skolnick went off and did the jazz thing like proper. Sounds like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really novel idea to have all of these like classic rock and metal songs and then turn them into like jazz songs. The delay that he had on his guitar can go directly in the bin. No.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's it toys with the premise that jazz music is based on standard songs, and that's why we have the term standards.
Yeah.
And we should have that for rock. There should be rock standards, and there are. And if you have rock standards, then you should be able to play those standards as though you're playing jazz. The place where the premise falls down is that jazz music is harmonically rich. And
Damn.
rock and metal music tends to be more rhythmically rich.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And I often say that the difference between jazz and prog is that jazz pushes a lot of harmonic boundaries and prog pushes a lot of rhythmic boundaries. So you play around with a lot of rhythmic concepts in progressive music. Yeah. In jazz, you play around with a lot of harmonic concepts.
You've just reminded me of a couple of comments that I've got on my I think it was Pantera.
Uh-huh.
It was Pantera and Tool. One guy on Pantera said, and I roughly quote, "Why did I just listen to this girl's shit for 20 minutes on my favourite band?"
I'll answer that question for you, sir, because you're a loser and you get joy out of watching reaction content, because what you need in life is for somebody to just sit and tell you how much they love your favourite band. Get a new hobby.
Sweet Jesus.
Get a new hobby.
No, I think I thought it was really funny, and I went back to him and I was like, calm down, guy. It's totally fine. It's not that deep. You had a nice time. And if you didn't...
No, he didn't have a nice time.
Well, I was like, if you didn't, it's totally fine too. But someone else as well on Tool was like, they weren't directing it at me. They were directing it to everyone else in the comment section. And they were just like, why the fuck am I listening to this uneducated, gormless twat talk about music. She knows nothing about music. She's completely inept. It was something like not a bank, but it was basically she clearly works in a bank or something. And I want to be like, I'm not sitting over here thinking that I'm some kind of Levi Clay when it comes to music theory. I am not. But just the funniness of
But
him
you do
being
have
like,
a master's in songwriting.
I do have a master's in songwriting, but it was just the fact that he was so furious talking to other people in the comments.
You've been a musician for 15 years, 18 years.
20,
oh, okay.
Almost 20.
Yeah. Cool.
18, 19.
So, all right, we're going to move on and look at... we did Testament. We're going to move on to Exodus. So Exodus is an American thrash metal band formed in 1979, so a little bit older, Californian band. The lineup consists of guitarists Gary Holt and Lee Altus. So Gary Holt is the important name here. Gary is the guy who you think of when you think of Exodus. Gary went on to join Slayer when Jeff Hanneman died, so he plays in Slayer, so he's, an important name in the thrash scene.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus also notably known for having Kirk Hammett, Metallica's guitar player. He was their founding guitarist.
Uh-huh.
But he didn't play on any of the recordings, but he was, And there are no original members left in Exodus. Yeah. Other than, I remember reading this last time, other than Hunting, who had departed from the band twice in 89 and 2004, but rejoined in 2007. So I guess what that's really saying is nobody has been with Exodus for the entire history of the band.
Right.
So I was never all that into Exodus. We are going to listen to the song The Toxic Waltz, taken from the Fabulous Disaster.
Toxic Waltz.
Yeah, Fabulous Disaster released in 1989. A very popular song, 21 million plays on Spotify. For me, it's kind of the Anthrax of it. It has that kind of very tongue-in-cheek, we don't take ourselves very seriously, punky attitude to it.
Do you think that vibe puts you off?
Yes.
Completely?
Yes.
In all genre?
Yes.
Well, I won't introduce you to the Bonzo Dog Band.
No, don't do that. Okay, so let's play Toxic Waltz, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about it. I stopped there because your face is a treat. We stopped at the end of the guitar solo there. How was the guitar solo?
No, thank you.
Very Slayer.
I'm very full. Thank you very much. I don't want any more. The solo wasn't for me. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard, but it wasn't for me. I was like...
The vocalist is Steve Souza.
Steve Souza has got an ever so slight... what's his name? Not Bon Scott, the other one. But also a little bit Bon Scott, that. Yeah. Also, somebody got a rhyming dictionary for Christmas for sure. Because everything rhymes. When it comes to songwriting, art is art, as I always say. I'm never going to read someone because things feel overly rhymey. Because some people really enjoy that. Personally, I don't. But at the same time, it was a vibe. But the verse riff, the change it up.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening in the guitar chords in the chorus. There's a crunchy chord, da 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 da, stack note on top, bass note changes, which I kind of like. But yes, it's just not for me. It's got that party vibe to it.
Yeah.
But I just want to read this little bit. So the band recorded their debut album, Bonded by Blood, in the summer of 84, with the band's manager, Mark Whitaker, producing. Concert photos from their 1984 performance at Aquatic Park's Eastern Front Metal Festival with Slayer and Suicidal Tendencies, and Ruthie's Inn with Megadeth and Slayer were included on the album sleeve inserts. Originally titled A Lesson in Violence, the album was not released until April 85, amidst creative and business setbacks. Whilst Bonded by Blood is considered a highly influential thrash metal album today, critics have regarded the delay in its release as having hindered the impact the album could have had. As AllMusic reviewer Eduardo Rivadavia would later write in his review of the album, had it been released immediately after it was recorded in 1984, Exodus's Bonded by Blood might be regarded today alongside Metallica's Kill 'Em All as one of the landmark albums responsible for launching the thrash metal wave. Exodus promoted the album by going on tour with Venom and Slayer. 4 songs from the performance at Studio 54 in New York City were filmed and released on home video as Combat Tour Live. Thoughts?
I disagree.
This isn't from that album, to be clear.
Okay, maybe then I do agree.
Yeah.
because there's a naivety about that song that we've just listened to.
Yes.
That whilst I'm not Metallica's biggest fan, shock horror, but from what I've heard of Kill 'Em All and the early Metallica stuff that we've listened to on here.
We listened to one track from Kill 'Em All, and I don't like Kill 'Em All as much as, Ride the Lightning, which came after that.
Ride the Lightning!
That's the one, yeah.
No, I don't think that song would match up.
So the group's third full-length album, Fabulous Disaster, was released in January 1989. That's the one that we were listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Music video for the song Toxic Waltz would receive constant rotation on Headbangers Ball. Promotion for the album included Exodus embarking on US Headbangers Ball tour with Anthrax and Halloween.
Halloween!
Yeah.
This is the second
You've
time
not even listened to them.
I was literally about to say this for the second time on this fucking podcast. I've only listened to them once, but I was dressed as Mrs. Doubtfire. Why did we do that? It was so stupid.
What, you doing the Mrs. Doubtfire
Mrs.
thing? I think it was
Doubtfire.
a great idea, but unfortunately...
No one else thought so.
Well, it's again, it highlights my thoughts on the people that consume reaction content. They're not looking for art or entertainment. They're literally just looking for you to validate the things that they feel about their music. That's it.
Maybe I'll just change it from Soul Singer Discovers to Soul Singer Validates.
Yeah, that'll probably do better.
I'm fine with validating people's opinions if I agree with them.
Next, we're going to take a listen to the track Blacklist from Tempo of the Damned. I like the name, Tempo of the Damned.
This is still...
Steve Sousa, vocals?
Yeah.
Exodus, yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yes. So, in 2001, Exodus reformed once again with a 1997 lineup, initially to play Thrash of the Titans concert, which was held as a benefit to Chuck Billy and Chuck Schuldiner, who were both battling cancer.
Aww.
There was talk of recording a new studio album. The band continued to play shows in and around the San Francisco Bay Area. However, on February 2nd, 2002, Paul Baloff died after suffering a stroke. Former vocalist Steve Sousa was brought back into the band to finish the rest of their concert commitments. So Paul took over from vocals after Sousa left. Rest of concert commitments. Although it appeared to outsiders that with Baloff's death, Exodus would cease to exist, guitarist Gary Holt was determined to release a studio album. The result was 2004's Tempo of the Damned, released on Nuclear Blast. An oddity of the recording sessions was that one track, Crime of the Century, was dropped under mysterious circumstances. The song chronicled Exodus's time under Century Media, of which Nuclear Blast is a subsidiary. Although it was publicly denied, rumours swelled that Century Media forced the song off the record. Crime of the Century was replaced with Impaler, a song that was written by Kirk Hammett when he was still in the band, previously featured on another Lesson in Violence live record. Despite selling fewer than 15,000 copies in its first year of release, Tempo of the Damned received generally positive reviews from fans and critics alike, now considered to be an important part of 2000's thrash metal revival. I like it because I like the album artwork.
Okay. Campus Christmas.
Yeah.
Very, very Phantom of the Opera, Dracula.
Yeah.
Gothy goth. I'm surprised I wasn't a goth at high school.
Let's listen to Blacklist. Sounds like this.
It's just not for me. The over
I don't like his
rhyming.
voice.
Yeah, and it's the over rhyming. It's the I'm gonna tell your name and it's gonna be the game 'cause I'm gonna have love with a glove. It's just like it's the over rhyming of it all. I'm just like it takes me out of it. But the bass sounded fabulous in that.
Yeah, I like the production. I just don't like his voice. I have to wonder whilst listening to that, what does one have to do to be on your blacklist? Because it wasn't like, you're on my blacklist, I'm never talking to you anymore. It was like, you're on my blacklist, I'm coming for you with a gun. It's cocked and loaded and ready. What does one have to do to elicit that level of response from somebody? Where it's like, I'm actually going to murder you.
I know what would be on
Be a
mine.
convicted felon for the rest of time.
Send you game requests on Facebook.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Release a video game that I've been really looking forward to playing and putting lots of multiplayer trophies in it.
Listen, I think there's some very modern reasons that I would kill lots of people. If YouTube's listening, that was a joke. I'm not going to kill anyone.
Not putting a sound man on our gigs.
Not put a sound man on gigs.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Exodus. We're going to move on. The last band that we managed to look at before realising that I wasted my time. Sepultura. So I'm also going to feel that I'm wasting my time listening to Sepultura. I was never into Sepultura. I didn't like them. Sepultura are a Brazilian heavy metal band formed by Belo Horizonte.
Belo Horizonte sounds like a fucking Bela Lugosi Dracula impersonator.
Formed in Belo Horizonte.
Oh, sorry, I thought
Not
you said
by.
that was a person.
I did say by.
Oh.
I misread because then I finished the sentence
Gutted.
by Max and Igor Cavalera.
I mean, still great names.
So when I think of Sepultura, I'm thinking of Max Cavalera. They're a major force in the groove metal, thrash metal, and death metal genres during the 80s and early 90s, with their latter experiments drawing influences from alternative metal, world music, new metal, progressive rock, hardcore punk, and industrial metal. They are also considered part of the second wave of thrash metal acts in the late 80s and the early to mid 90s. So I'm not crazy about them. The guitarist Andreas Kisser, again, just strikes me as kind of generic thrash sound.
Okay.
But the thing, this is where I feel we're on the same page, and I'm lining this up as though you haven't actually heard Sepultura, but I'm still going to pretend like I know how you're going to react to this, even though I know I'm incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that we're going to be on the same page with this, because when I listen to Sepultura, I just don't like Max's vocals. Mm-hmm. It sounds so unsupported. It sounds dangerous.
Oh.
His vocals just don't feel like they're delivered well.
Okay.
Musically, it's all right, but yeah, it just wasn't into his vocals when I was younger.
Sure.
So we're going to listen to Refuse Resist from Chaos AD. Sounds like this. That was just enough to annoy me as a kid, because I'd heard all these really, really great guitar solos, and I'd also learned that when you put a wah on, you can essentially play anything, and it just sounds like wah stuff. And really, Kirk Hammett of Metallica, people make fun of him all the time because he loves the wah pedal. It's just his thing. People make memes of like boots where there's wah pedals underneath both of them. These are Kirk Hammett's new signature shoes. Wah pedal is like lazy guitar playing.
Well, here, I'm not a guitarist. I don't wish to be. I don't give a fuck about solos, okay? That wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good one, but I'll say this. The vocals were also not great. However, vibe-wise, I enjoyed that.
Okay.
I did enjoy that. And yes, he's singing from a very close, like, which is super destructive. And I mean, there for every tool or rule there is in vocals, there is always a singer who defies it, which is something that I said to someone who got really mad at me in the comment sections about vocals, and I was like, listen. If you ever find a vocalist or someone who teaches vocals on YouTube who says to you, oh yeah, there's hard and fast rules about vocals and that's that, and there is literally no wiggle room, I'm like, well, go forth. You're clearly selling a course, but you're also a fucking liar, because there's always vocalists who do shit like that, and they'll do it for fucking 30 years and suffer no fucking consequences. Sorry, that makes me so mad. I get so mad about it, because it's like, you're just selling a course. Shut your fucking whore mouth. But
Hard to sell your course though if you shut your mouth.
Well, but no, musically, I enjoyed that.
I picked that track because it still feels thrash to me. The next record, Roots from 1996. I think it's the next album. Yeah, next album, Roots from 1996. Feels like it steered into the groove side of things. Doesn't feel as thrashy to me. But I will just play the start of Roots, Bloody Roots, because to me that is the pinnacle of Max blowing his voice out.
Okay. But there's something that happens harmonically, I'm sure, that's really fascinating.
Well, you just have to listen to it in the car, won't you?
Such a meanie. I had to sit through so much fucking Megadeth.
In the car.
In the car and on the podcast.
We'll put Sepultura on in the car then.
Motherfucker. I really like Sepultura. I didn't, like, that vocal right there was straight up nails down a blackboard. But it's bizarre because musically I really enjoy the vibe of what's going on.
Yep.
And the rhythm. I've not listened, so after the last podcast, I thought, right, I'm not going to listen to any Sepultura because I don't want to hear any other vibes. In fact, I almost recorded a Sepultura video for the channel, and I was like, no, I'm going to not listen to any more because, sometimes it depends on what day you catch me on, whether or not I'm going to like something. And I was like, maybe that day, because I was aware that day that I was having a bad day, that I was going out of my way to be very complimentary. But no, I like the vibe.
Okay.
I like it.
We're going to move on now and take a listen to the band Creator. Creator are a German band one of the big four of German thrash: Creator, Destruction, Sodom, and Tankard. So I have the track People of the Lie, and this is where things definitely get tricky. So if you look at the bands we've listened to, we listened to Exodus, we listened to Testament. I gave you an early track and I gave you a late track.
Yes.
I can't keep doing that or we'll be here forever. So we're just going for the thrash sound now.
Sure.
So this is People of the Lie, taken from Coma of Souls, yeah, which is 1990. So it's like early thrash rather than 2000s thrash.
Okay.
Yeah, so German thrash, People of the Lie, sounds like this.
Just, I might be coming, my ear might be getting exhausted, but no to all of that.
It says Mile Petroza on vocals and guitars. He sounds like he's blowing his voice out doing it.
Yeah,
I liked the intro. I like, musically, I think it was good vibes.
I don't know what it is. There's a really small space. There's a tight rope, if you will, between vocals that I can listen to where the person is clearly not supported, but there's something really feral and expressive about it. Because even Corey Taylor, we've talked about this before. There's stuff that Corey Taylor does where I'm like, oh Jesus, but also it's like yes. But then I hear other vocalists doing the same kind of thing, and I'm like, no, it sounds horrid.
My comment on that, like I say, one of the German big four. I think it's very bold of a German band to have the lyric "Got a master plan, genocide."
Everybody just step back, calm down. That's plenty.
Okay. We're going to move on to the band Annihilator. So Annihilator are a Canadian thrash band, and they have an album called Alice in Hell, which is a great name for an album.
Yeah.
But oddly, it's like Slayer with Raining Blood and Rain in Blood. The album is called Alice in Hell.
Uh-huh.
It's their 1989 album. But the track that we're listening to is called ALISON Hell.
Oh, okay. Who's she? Who's that diva? Fine.
Sure.
But also, give me something else. Give me something new. I'm happy to listen to it.
It's thrash music from 1989. You remember, the focus of this is not for you to find your new favourite bands.
No, I understand.
But when you hear things to know, that sounds like music from the 80s, it sounds like thrash music.
Sure.
You would never mistake, black metal for thrash metal now.
No, I would not.
And the more we listen to styles of music and different eras, the more you're going to hear that. So Alice in Hell, debut studio album by Canadian thrash band Annihilator, released in April 89 through Roadrunner. This was the only Annihilator album for 10 years to feature Randy Rampage on vocals.
Randy Rampage?
I've been on a few Randy Rampages in my time.
I bet you have. You slag.
Yeah, so this is Alice in Hell. Here we go. Van
Halen's lead vocalist.
Oh, Dave Lee Roth.
Yeah, that was a wee Dave Lee Roth scream, which is not actually a scream, it's a whistle. I really enjoyed that.
That's something we saw this week. Bumblefoot doing the whistle vocal.
Bumblefoot, you beautiful bastard. There's no end to that man's talent. He must be protected at all costs. Yeah, I enjoyed that. The bass tone at the beginning was dog shit.
It's too high in register.
It's just bogging. It was just gross on all fronts. However, the rest of it, yes. Thank you. Stay forever. I like the ookie spooky. I like the changing tempos. I like the meandering through different sections. I like that little extra bar to leave this gap. Yes.
Okay.
Annihilator? No, Sodom.
No, Annihilator.
Who was that? Annihilator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
But you've given away the spoiler, so next up we're just going to fire through Sodom.
Soz.
Sodom, a German thrash metal band, again one of the big four, and we're listening to from the album Code Red from 1999, so a little bit later on, I guess. This is Tombstone, very popular track by Sodom. I say popular, it's all relative, isn't it?
Popular.
Not as popular as that. 3 million plays on Spotify, so not bad. So this is Tombstone by Sodom.
The lead singer has a slight Jens Kidman edge to his scream.
Sounds like Tom Araya to me.
You think?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
need to listen to more Slayer then.
I don't think I do.
I also agree with that. He also has, he has a few things in common with Tom Araya.
Oh.
His name's also Tom.
Uh-huh.
And he also plays bass in the band.
Oh.
So bassist, vocalist.
Yeah.
Tom Angel Ripper.
I don't think that's his real name.
It's Tom Such.
I think that was good. I think the mixing at the start was very cool. The riff was kind of fine. But mostly the vibe was good.
Yeah.
I also like that I saw some list of Sodom songs there, I think. And one of them was Addicted to Abstinence. And the other was Visual Buggery.
So reading through their Wikipedia page, they took in lots of different sounds over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They brought a punk sound in 94. Brought in some of the grunge and alternative rock vibes. I see here Angel Ripper also started a solo career doing metal impressions of drinking songs. So German schlagers and even Christmas-type carols.
Yes!
A live album was recorded with the tour to support the resulting album called Marooned Live.
Fabulous.
Then they did Masquerade in Blood, which added a groove metal vibe to their evolving blend of crossover thrash and death metal. So did lots of things, but the album we listened to was from their 1999, so it's their what Wikipedia says is their return to thrash.
Ah.
So this is the thrashy elements.
Good for them.
Yeah, not bad. Okay, so let's finish up with the final section. So the thrash metal genre had declined in popularity by the mid-90s due to the commercial success of numerous genres such as alternative rock, grunge, later pop punk, and of course nu metal. In response, some bands either disbanded or moved away from their thrash metal roots and more towards groove metal or alternative metal, and we've kind of heard that sound, I think, in some of these bands.
Mm-hmm.
The genre has also seen a resurgence in popularity since the 2000s with the arrival of various bands such as Bonded by Blood, Evil, Hatchet, Havoc, Lamb of God, Municipal Waste, and Warbringer. So I'm going to go for a band that's not even on that list.
Sure.
Because back in 2005, I can tell you that the hottest band in Kerrang! Magazine was a band called Trivium.
Okay.
Do we know anything about Trivium?
Literally nothing.
Okay.
Zero.
Cool.
Zilch.
Yeah, not many people heard Ember to Inferno when it came out in 2003, but when they released the album Ascendancy in 2005, they were hailed by all the music press as the next Metallica.
Ah, okay.
And I do think this album is really good. I think they were very popular for a reason. And they are still going, still doing their thing.
Okay.
I have been in talks about hooking you up with Matt Heafy from Trivium to do an interview.
Okay.
We just put out a book with him for Fundamental Changes.
Let's hope I like this then.
Yeah, so it's totally on the cards. He's an interesting one because I don't think he's a Melissa Cross student. I mean, he may have been in the past, but I know he has a vocal coach now because he's battled with his voice over the years. So when he joined Trivium, he came in and started doing vocals and guitar with them. He wasn't really a singer.
Right.
So he didn't have any technique. And as the years have gone by, he's had to develop, for the longevity of his voice. And
Sure.
he certainly talked about, posts on social media about struggles with his voice.
I can't imagine how difficult it must be doing being in a band that does metal and being expected to create that distortion.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So genre-wise, Wikipedia has this pinned as thrash metal and melodic metalcore.
Okay.
Now, we've not covered any metalcore yet. We'll obviously get to it. There's definitely some elements of that. But
Will Ramos's band? Will Ramos's band, they're metalcore, right?
Deathcore, I think.
Oh, okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
So we're going to listen to, I think it's the opener actually, Rain. It's a little instrumental at the start of the album. And then we're going to listen to Rain. It wasn't a single from the album. The singles from this album were Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr, great tune, Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation, and Like Light to Flies. And I remember hearing Like Light to Flies when it came out, because this is my era.
Okay.
Being a young person starting to listen to metal, and then bands like this are coming out, and you're like,
Sure.
oh shit. Anyway, so this is Rain taken from Ascendancy. Sounds like this. Stop there.
Harmonically, I think there's some really cool things. That dabba 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 dabba.
Yeah.
Was really cool. I like that. And then because it went dabba 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 into the ba ba.
They like to do having big power chords.
Yeah.
And power chords, of course, just root and fifth.
Right.
I mean, I'm saying that like you know that. Power chords are just a root and fifth. Can be played, multiple times. Like I can go. I can't do that because the keyboard isn't plugged in. But you can have root fifth, and like really stack them up and have a big sound. But they don't. There's no harmonic information there. Much.
Yeah.
That's the sound of distortion, right? That's the guitar thing. It's what we do. And your lyric, like the chord without a third, power chords.
Yeah.
But they tend to, they'll do that. They'll have like these walls of power chords, and then they'll have guitars playing octaves with notes in that aren't the power chord to add in like a major quality or minor quality to things. So you'll hear that a lot in bands like that, where they're playing lots of power chords, and then there'll be an octave part over the top of it, which adds like a counter melody, but also fills out the harmony a little bit. So
yeah, I enjoyed that. His voice does sound. Ooh.
Yeah. They are currently on tour with Bullet for My Valentine. You might have seen this in the news. This is a minor news story, but Bullet for My Valentine have pulled out of doing the rest of the tour. Wow. So they were doing touring the anniversary of Ascendancy and Bullet for My Valentine's release of their album The Poison, which was really, really popular back in the day. And they're a band of the same era. And I think that Matt Tuck from Bullet for My Valentine just doesn't like playing old songs, doesn't like doing the old music, because that when Bullet for My Valentine first came out, they sounded like the most commercially viable metal band, almost like an industry plant. Right. Good looking young boys, and their songs were metal but emo, it was commercially viable, right. And they were supposed to be again the next big thing for Welsh band. And that, I think they were signed to a 6 label deal for their first album. So when you get signed to a deal that big, the label expects big things of you. Sure. But as the years have gone on, they have branched out into doing, I guess, music that you would consider to be more authentic, authentically them, more metal, less commercial. Okay. And I think they're probably really interested in playing that music, the modern stuff. They don't want to play the old stuff for people. Meanwhile, Trivium did the polar opposite. I would argue Trivium started out as like a very raw and authentic band, and then they became considerably more commercial as they went on. So I can see why Matt might have left that tour. It must be nice for Matt Heafy of Trivium to be able to go out and play his old music, because it was balls to the wall authentic and less commercial. Must be nice. But poor Matt Tuck with Bullet for My Valentine having to go out and play all this fucking teeny bopper shit from early 2000s.
Yeah, but I don't know. I sometimes, again, much like the sleep token thing, sometimes when I hear artists complain about stuff like that, I do feel sorry for them, because I know how annoying it is when I have to and I'm not even on the same, not even the same neighbourhood, but when people say, oh, I really love your music, Melissa, I really love this song, and it's a song from fucking yonks ago and I can't stand it. Because you do, as a songwriter, you grow and you change as a person, and then there's stuff that you listen to that you did. I mean, there's stuff that I don't even have on Spotify that I wrote like 15 years ago that if I listened to it now, I'd probably want to peel my own skin off like a tangerine. But I also am the same vibe of, but if you're successful, and that's the thing that made you successful, as annoying as it is, pay homage to it. Even if you have to do a fucking medley of it, fuck me. Like, there's a Scottish band called Delamitri. They've had to play the same 3 albums for fucking 35 years.
That's the nature of being an artist.
Yeah,
it's the struggle, but
yeah, it's sad, but at the same time, it's like rejoice, because people want to listen.
Yeah, yes and no. It's like rejoice, but being forced to be stuck in your early 20s when you're in your 40s, and I think it hammers home this idea of like, people don't give a shit about the new music that you're releasing. We don't care. We just want to hear the stuff that you did when you were 20. So you have a choice. You can either be irrelevant, or you can continue to pretend to be 20. I'm just gonna put "Tears Don't Fall" on by Bullet for My Valentine, just to paint you in the picture of what we're talking about. 260
million views. Holy Vishnu.
Yeah, and I mean, it was uploaded to YouTube long after it was released as a track. So 380 million on Spotify.
I literally have no idea what they sound like. Yeah.
Did you want to have to go out on the road and play that?
I take it all back. That's fucking garbage. Yeah. It's garbage of the highest order. Yeah. It's Britney Spears with guitars. Yeah. Oh, Susan, imagine.
Yeah, now if I do a comparison, this is their last record. I've not heard.
Sweet baby James.
Had no interest since. But yeah, so this is what they sound like now. This is Knives taken from Bullet for My Valentine Deluxe 2022. I'd rather go see that than that.
I would rather go and see that than that. But then at the same time, like, yeah. Do you know what it is? I'm about to say something bold and I know I'm going to regret it one day.
I'm here for it.
Will I say it? No,
Say
fuck it. I'm going to say it.
It's all right. No one listens to this podcast.
Even... but some people do. And for those of you who are watching right now...
That's why we're still doing it.
I wish you had a big face so I could smush you. All of you.
Maybe they do have big faces.
No, if they
Maybe
all...
that's why they listen to us and don't come and see us.
No, like they all...
It'll be like that scene in Drop Dead Fred where he gets his head shut in the fridge.
Fucking snot bags.
You'll have to put that on screen.
Yeah. What was I saying?
You were going to say something controversial.
Yes. Maybe it is, right? On my worst day, on my worst, most dreadful day as a songwriter, I was still head and shoulders above most of the other songwriters that I worked with. So even stuff that I wrote back in the day, like when I was 21, still actually not as cringeworthy as that.
Well, yeah, because so the stuff that you were... but babe, I'm going to say something not controversial, but something that will get me punched in the head after this podcast.
Oh, come on.
But no, I have to say these things.
I'll leave it out.
Right? You're right. But that's because you've always been focused on the best song that you can write and express in the art form.
Yeah.
Yeah? But you've never been interested in doing the most commercially viable thing.
No.
Which is why you don't have the same success as somebody that does do those things.
That's, you know what? Yeah, and I'm not going to punch you in the head for that. That's totally fine. You know why? Because we've discussed it so much times before. I didn't become a musician to be continently successful. I became a musician because as a working class person, for me, the only future that I was offered was marry a joiner and have 4 wains you don't want, or end up in a dead end job and it will be in retail or hospitality, and if you're lucky, you'll get a receptionist job. And
I hear everything you're saying, but you could have done all those things and done commercial music.
Mayhaps, mayhaps it could have been that younger Melisa couldn't dream big enough. But you know what? The life that I ended up with is still a holiday in Bahamas to what I anticipated it being, and I will forever be thankful to young Melisa for that. And no, I look at that and I go, well, I never wrote in that fucking shit. And yes, that is the reason they're successful. And Godspeed to them. Yeah. Godspeed to them. Because that's another thing. When we have opinions on the channel and people get really upset at me, I still turn to them and they don't need to say it to me. I turn to them and I go, stop getting so upset. Because see, at the end of the day, your favourite band are your favourite band because you know who they are and they're successful. Who am I? I am a worm. Don't worry about me, Bubby. Go and have your
But
life.
they have to worry about you because they're consuming reaction content and all they're looking for is for you to validate their thoughts about their favourite band. Okay, should we do the last one?
Sure.
All right, so Lamb of God. You already know Lamb of God, right? Yeah.
What's his face? Lead singer.
Randy Blythe.
Fabulous voice.
I think Randy Blythe has the best metal vocal in the entire genre.
He's got
The best scream in the entire genre. I think Lamb of God are possibly the best metal band to have ever existed.
Okay.
Because they are so perfect in what they do. They're so perfect in what they do. There are other bands that I think are awesome, like bands like Meshuggah, fantastic band. Love bands like Meshuggah. But every other, I don't know, it's just like, I was going to say that with Meshuggah, there's still something that is desired. That's not actually true. Meshuggah are awesome as well. But I guess, for me, Lamb of God, you don't listen to anything Lamb of God do and go, that could have been better.
Okay.
You know? And unlike someone like Meshuggah, they've also had phenomenal commercial success with it, which is good for the genre.
Okay.
Does that make some sort of sense?
Sure.
Yeah. They're not as influential as Meshuggah, obviously. No. But yeah, I think they're a perfect metal band. So Lamb of God, American heavy metal band formed in Richmond, Virginia, formed in 1994 as Burn the Priest, which is a great name for a band as well.
Yes.
Lamb of God is a great name for a band. Burn the Priest is a great name for a band.
I mean, such a great Lamb of God joke in my Mrs. Doubtfire video.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, Lamb of God sound like a wonderful band. Like, she was, never mind.
Yeah, that's their joke. They did that in their own video.
Oh, yes?
Yeah, in Redneck. The group consists of bassist John Campbell, vocalist Randy Blythe, guitarist Mark Morton and Willie Adler, and drummer Art Cruz. The band is considered a significant member of the new wave of American heavy metal movement. And genre-wise, they're not a thrash band. it's like thrash and groove often go hand in hand. They've got a lot of the groove thing in there. They've got a lot of metalcore in there. Definitely thrash metal.
Sure.
And their early stuff is death metal. And they've been active since 1994. We are going to listen to the track Laid to Rest from Ashes of the Wake. I think it's a nice example of Randy's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm super here for it. The fact that they put out an album called New American Gospel, fantastic. Like,
As Lamb of God.
Yeah, just
Fabulous.
Awesome. Anyway, so here's Laid to Rest.
Yeah, it's recorded immaculately. The drums, the kick drum the kick drum specifically, all sound just like so top tier recorded.
That's 2004.
Oh, so fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Randy's voice is just
So good.
Yeah, really, really
I
good.
love the riffs, the production, the respect of what came before as well is there. Not on that track, but if you listen to the rest of the album, the title track of the album features Testament guitarist Alex Skolnick and Megadeth guitarist Chris Poland.
Yeah.
So again, that's like, you knowing where you're from.
Sure.
Yeah, just I have nothing but good things to say about Lamb of God.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Like, even if you objectively didn't enjoy their music, to be able to listen to that, taking away the whether or not you like it thing, between the production and the arrangement and all the rest of it, it's like I never like saying you can't say something shit, because of course you can, because at the end of the day it's art, anyone can say anything shit. But yeah, it's just very good, isn't it?
But of course you know about Randy Blythe and his manslaughter case.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate one.
Yeah, after I did Lamb of God last time on the channel, a bunch of the guys in the comments sent me things, and I was like, "Oh Lord, he coming."
Yeah, it's such an unfortunate one for everybody involved. You know, unfortunate accident. Though of course manslaughter by definition is accidental killing.
Yeah.
But for me, with that whole situation, we live in a post Dimebag Darrell being shot in the face on stage.
Yeah, like this.
So if someone gets up on the stage, there's no time to fuck around.
No.
It wasn't that he, choked him to death. He just pushed him off the stage.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, I think the giving Randy Blythe anything other than not a complete pass, because of course somebody died. So like conversations need to be had, but metal, as you talk about, is testosterone driven. Violence is something that is openly discussed in the comment section, not the comment section, the lyrics, and it's perpetuated throughout. And to give him shit for pushing a fan who jumped up on stage, like you say, with the Dimebag Darrell thing, and not just the Dimebag Darrell thing, but in general at these gigs, people are in mosh pits and they're punching each other, and some of it's it's consensual punching, and some of it's not. Like, it's a real shame.
Yeah, reading here, according to a verdict delivered by the municipal court in Prague on March 5th, 2013, Blythe had thrown Nosek off the stage and had moral responsibility for the fan's death, but he was not criminally liable. The decision was appealed and upheld in the Prague High Court in June of 2013. And I mean, everybody in that venue that evening was morally responsible for that. Yeah,
because
death.
Why the fuck?
The security are the biggest to blame.
I was literally
he shouldn't have been able to get on the stage in the first place.
Never.
And if it got on the stage and it got to the point where a member of the band had to protect themselves, keep the stage a safe space and make sure the audience members aren't in there, and therefore pushed him off the stage, guess what? The security should have been there to fucking catch him.
It's wild to me that a band that size would have issues with anyone getting on the stage.
Yeah.
Like, I've gigged in many places in Glasgow, but that's one thing that is just a big no-no. It's a big no-no with security. Some of the boys that work security on Sucky Hall Street, there's fucking no way any of them would let someone jump on the stage. I've pushed people off the stage before. I kicked someone up the arse off the stage once before as well. I've pushed people off of the box stage, and you know how high that is, and I don't give a fuck. And it is sad and blah blah blah. And it is horrible. I mean, that will follow him around. I'm sure. 2013 it happened.
Yes.
It's a real shame. For the family as well of the boy that was killed, and
he's
It's a real shame.
He's an interesting guy, though. Like, I'll throw a few more mentions of Randy out there. So done some acting work. He announced that he'd be running for president of the United States at one point. with the blog entry, "I want to be the big cheese." His official campaign slogan was "Fuck the dumb shit, let's get real here." But he did not appear in the ballot of any of the 50 states.
Oh.
Starring in an action movie made by Taiwanese metal band SKOLNICK, I believe that is. July 2015, Blythe's first book, Dark Days, a memoir, was released by Da Capo Press. During its first week of sales, it made the publisher's weekly non-fiction national bestsellers list. Joined Death Haven on stage to do their song Dream House. Collaborated with Devil Driver on covers of Ghost Riders in the Sky by Johnny Cash. He was a member of the supergroup Pigface during the group's first tour in 14 years.
Pigface!
Yeah. He agreed to perform with the group for the first 5 dates of the 12 tour date, but due to his enjoyment of it, he agreed to stay on for the remaining 7 dates. And in April 2020, Blythe and Scottish brewery company Brewdog announced a collaboration that yielded a non-alcoholic beer named Ghost Walker. The name is taken from the Lamb of God song Ghost Walking, which is on their 2012 album Resolution. Blythe wrote the lyrics to the song whilst beginning his journey to live an alcohol-free lifestyle.
There you go, Brewdog. It's just a shame all of Brewdog's pubs are shite.
Yeah, and I'm just going to check this. Hang on.
They're just filled with hipster guys being like, "Oh, what kind of IPAs do you have? Can we also have like some of that stuff that's like not Guinness but looks exactly like it? I want to take it to my girlfriend and her friends and talk about it endlessly. Also, do you like my band t-shirt?" Like, I fucking hate those places. The most non-pub pubs in Glasgow.
So yeah, he also does photography. And,
wow! Look at Zach. Fucking how much?
What's
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
which is kind of cool.
Some of these are great.
Should we get the Zach?
Yeah. Look at him.
So very, very cool. I like him, and I like the band. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I like Lamb of God.
Not just Lamb of God, the overall post thrash.
Sure, okay. I think that thrash is one of those genres that I'm always going to enjoy more so the groove end of thrash than anything else. Because you know me, and there's just always got to be a little rhythm and blues in there somewhere. Some of it can literally live in the bin forever. In fact, some of it, like one of the good things about having the brain that I have is I can deliberately forget things and genuinely forget them forever. So some of it I've pushed into that section of my brain that, you know, I'll never think of again. But there's a lot to recommend it. It's not my favourite genre of metal, for surezies. Thrash. No. I'm interested to check out more Sepultura. I will always have a soft space in my heart for Anthrax. I think Megadeth I can't escape because you're going to play it again at some point. But then that's okay.
Yes, I am.
But that's okay because Dave Mustaine, you know what, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, overall...
What do you mean you don't like Megadeth?
What do you mean, Megadeth? I'll tell you.
What do you mean I hurt your feelings? I didn't know you had any feelings.
Such a grumpy old bastard. But yeah, overall, sure, why not? If you like thrash, I now understand, but also can identify. Yeah. And I'm not sure if I could have done that before as successfully.
And can we all agree in the comments that Lamb of God are a perfect band? Hopefully.
Not about perfect band. Yeah.
As usual, please do subscribe, leave a comment below, all of that good stuff. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. We will be back next week to talk about an undecided genre.
Can we do hair metal?
All right, we'll do hair metal.
I want to do some campery. Let's do some campery. I've sat through 5 fucking weeks of thrash metal. Can we please have some campery?
I mean, Toxic Waltz was pretty fucking camp.
No. I'm talking full face of makeup, campy camp, might be gay camp.
Okay, fine. Hair metal it is. We'll see you there. Until next time.
Sockerback Richards.
He's the doctor with the beans in his bag. The beans in his bag. Dr. Beanbag.
Pinto beans. Jelly beans.
Chickpea beans. Runner beans.